Yo, what up? It's the Pickleball Lab Coaching Podcast. What's up, dude?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. Good.
Good. Yeah. How's pickleball going?
It's pretty good. Played a couple times last week. I'm still dealing with kind of a lingering injury, so I've been doing a lot. Well, it started with Piriformis, which is basically a smaller muscle in your glute, and then once that gets inflamed, it connects to the sciatic nerve.
Gotcha. You've been dealing with that for a while, right?
8 months now, off and on. Honestly, I just, for the first 6 months, just really tried to play through it.
Yeah.
The pickleball, I mean, even there's just so many injuries in pickleball now because people, for one, it's a demanding, hard sport. And for two, people just aren't doing the right things when it comes to stretching and strength training. So you get really
That was going to be my question. Yeah, that was going to be my question. Do you stretch before you play?
I did not, but now I stretch before I play. I do yoga in the morning, and then I stretch after you play because you really have to stretch after you play. But yeah, I mean, a bunch of people are getting hurt in the sport just because, it's super fun and addicting, and you just get out there and start playing.
Right.
And then you're just not doing the right thing. So it's super important to take care of your body, eat healthy, stretch, do some strength training because there's a lot of lateral movements, a lot of quick jump offs, things like that.
Yeah, I think so. Here's my stretch routine. I think people could start with this and you can build your own. But I actually got this from a trainer. So just jog 1 or 2 times. Actually, let's see. 1 time, twice widthwise, one end of the sideline to the other end of the sideline. That's 1. Then go back. That's 2. So you do that. You jog. Then you do hamstring kicks. So you guys can YouTube those. But basically, you're just kicking up, trying to keep your leg straight, touch your toe.
Yeah.
Do that all the way down from one sideline to the other sideline, then back, everything sideline to sideline. Then a little calf stretch where you put your foot out. I don't know the name of it, but you put your heel down and then reach and try and touch the bottom of your shoe, right? To kind of do a dynamic. This should all be dynamic is what they recommend. And then you touch the bottom of your shoe. That should stretch a little bit of your calf. Yeah, maybe even a little bit of your quad too, or not quad, hamstring, and then that down and back, and then hamstring pull. So you just grab your foot, pull it behind you. You can YouTube those. Then A steps, which is what runners use a lot to warm up. I really don't understand totally the purpose, but when I do it, I'm kind of okay, I think it warms up your hip. Some trainer can just drop in the comments on YouTube what it actually does, but that seems to really get my lower body firing. And then I do these little ankle jumps where they're not exactly ankle jumps, but I'm on one foot, I explode off and then land on the other foot as far as I can, and then hold that balance and then explode over. And then that's my warm up. And then to cool down, I just do hamstring on the ground, touch my toes, then up in the air, both feet, touch the right for 40 seconds, touch the left for 40 seconds. Then I do the butterfly or whatever that thing's called for your groin, right? That little stretch. Yeah. And then you can just Google a bunch of stuff, but I stretch for about 10 or 15 minutes at the end. And I think that actually, I can tell a difference between those. But I think this is not necessarily for pros. This is for people who don't want to get injured, Right. And so that's really basic. I think the pros probably do a lot more than that.
Way more.
But I think stretching is super, super important because I heard a great quote. Everyone probably knows it. What's the best ability? Do you know?
Definitely.
Yeah. Hey guys, allow me a quick break to tell you about the Pickleball Lab. If you're ready to stop guessing with things like YouTube and local coaches and actually progress in your pickleball game, the Pickleball Lab is for you. We combine expert, structured online video courses and direct coaching feedback from me with a supportive community of players just like you at your exact level. Get the lessons, the coaching, and the support you need to finally level up. Join us at pickleballlab.co/lab or find the link in the show notes and let's grow your game together.
I thought that was the quote.
Yeah.
I'm interesting.
What's the best ability? I don't know. No, that's the quote, dude. That's the quote. there's no, you don't have to answer the question. Yeah, no. Answer it real quick. What do you think the best ability is? It's a setup question. It's availability.
Oh, there you go.
Have you heard people talk about that?
I have not. No.
Dude, it just gets everybody. You just like triple deke somebody. What's the best ability? Availability. It's like, oh, okay, man. Okay, I get it. But yeah, so I think that's like super, super important. I mean, even if you're like a casual player, like it's awesome to just, feel good,
Yeah.
like and not get injured. Like the only time you can't have fun playing pickleball is if you can't play pickleball,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I've been off and on. It's like some days I go out there, I'm 70%, and then some days I'm like 100, and it's
Yeah.
just all just depends. So yeah, I mean, I've just dialed back a lot with playing, which is fine. But I'm starting to get to that point where like strength training and stretching and just having like being consistent in my routines. Cause, through this process too, I would feel better. I'd be like, oh, I don't need to do all that anymore.
Yeah.
And then it comes back, a month
Yep.
later. So just really
Yeah.
being consistent, do your stretching, strength training, and, prevent the injuries because it sucks being out on the court like 70% of
Yeah.
you can do.
Yeah. Are you lifting at all?
I was lifting like 4 or 5 days a week before the injury, and then
Mm.
I remember I got injured, and then I went and benched, and I couldn't even bench, even though it was my glute that was
Yeah.
injured.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Again, a performance trainer should jump in and like correct me. But every time I feel like I've had like a lower body injury, it can't be too severe. It's just got to be a small tweak, like a hamstring, issue or glute issue. If I'll rest it and then I'll go lift, like after it doesn't hurt as much anymore, it'll go away. And I don't know what that's about. Another thing is diet. Like I've noticed that the cleaner I eat, the easier I recover from stuff.
Absolutely.
But that's so freaking hard. I said that and I ate 4 donuts today.
Diet plays a huge part.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Plays
yeah.
a huge part because if you're
Yeah,
inflammation, right? If you're not eating good foods and your body's inflamed,
yeah,
your muscles are. So
yeah. Do you play singles at all?
I did my first singles tournament. I didn't practice for it. I just went out there and played.
Nice.
But yeah, I grew up playing tennis, so
Okay.
singles I'm more natural at, I would say.
Yeah. I started playing singles and added it to my training. So my goal this year, pretty ambitious, but to get to a 6-0 if I possibly can. And I think like I have a really good plan for that. I think my plan is just getting really good at ground strokes and then getting good at volleys.
Hmm.
So just hands. And so my plan is to do 3 hours every week. And so like for those listening, like I'm trying to go pro. I'm not suggesting you do this at all. And anytime we give advice on the podcast, you really have to take it with like what is the person who's talking, what's their goal? Right. So my goal is to go pro. Elliott, I don't think you're trying to go pro. Like you're just trying to get better every day. Is that right?
Yeah, I would say me and a buddy were talking about this last week. I would say like my goal is to get to somewhere around like a 5.5.
Nice. That's a
Yeah.
great goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
So
think that's certainly achievable. And so that's going to dictate not only how much time you put into pickleball, like your volume of hours. That's why when people are like, how much should I drill? How much should I play? It's kind of well, what's your volume of hours? That's the first question. If it's you and like people are like, oh, I have like 3 hours to drill in 3 hours. It's like, no, like total in pickleball total, what's your volume of hours? And then I can give you a split. And so they give me like, I'm going to do like 10 hours. And then you're like, okay, what after that, like, what is your goal in pickleball period? Like, is it to play and have fun? Is it to get better? Like, where do you fall on that spectrum? And then I can tell you what the split is from there. So like people who are like, I just want to have fun, just go play. Like there's no reason to ever drill. Just go play, go have fun.
right.
If it's any amount of like, I want to have fun playing, but I want to get a little better, like maybe you're 25% drill, 75% play, right? But if anyone's ever like, I primarily get joy from getting better, then you're probably looking at like a 50-50 split initially until like you tone it way back. I think like right now I'm like a 5-1 on DUPR, so you have to take this with a grain of salt. I haven't gotten there yet, but I think you like really reduce your drilling probably at like a 5-5 level and just play as much as you can. I don't know that to be true, but that's my guess because at that point your mechanics should be pretty good. Your ability to adopt something new should be much faster. So like if you're trying to start hitting like a two-handed backhand dink, you should be able to adapt that much faster just because you adapted a lot of things, right?
Right.
So when people like end up asking like those questions, I just ask like, what's your goal? Like what are you trying to do? So with my goal, like trying to get better, or not trying to get better, trying to become a professional, my split is much different. And so it's always like kind of difficult to answer that question, I think, for a lot of people. And I honestly forgot where I was going with that. So
Did you say out of like a weekly basis, how much do you think you're drilling compared to playing?
in the beginning, it was like 75%, 25%. I don't know if that's good or not, but I just had a lot of stuff to fix. And then I kind of went down to 50-50, and now I'm at drill 1 day a week.
Hmm.
And I guess that's technically not true. I drill with a partner 1 day a week. And then because that's where we were headed. We were talking about singles. I'm starting to play singles more, and I treat it less as I need to go there and win, which I think this is a huge thing for most people. I go there less as I need to treat this how to win. I'm going to get better at ground strokes. Like that's it. I do not care if I win. Now and I have to actively fight that as I play singles. Like, dang, I'm down 6-0. It's like doesn't matter. How many quality reps did you get in on your forehand or your backhand at 6-0? Oh, yeah, okay, like, I got a bunch then that's all I have to fight that constantly in my brain because I don't wanna waste my time. If I go out and play singles for an hour and a half or 2 hours, and all I did was try to win, but I pulled shots in trying to win, so let's say I pulled someone wide to the right, and I could just hit, like a floater to the back corner to win the point, I could totally do that. But if my goal is to get better, I'm going to go ahead and hit that with pace. Like I would need it if they weren't in the corner, like if they were in the center of the court, I would need to put a bunch of pace on that. So I hit the pace shot
Right.
so that I can get better. So if you count that stuff like singles and then me doing wall drills, I am probably drilling, 50% of the time still.
You play every day.
Yeah, at this point, I think my body actually, from eating healthy, lifting, and stretching, I think my body can actually handle 2-a-days.
Mhm.
For the most part, depending, singles is really difficult on my body right now. So I don't know that I could do that all the time. But like static drilling where you're not really moving that much isn't that big of a deal. Wall ball, you're not moving at all. Like you're just sitting there, like hitting back and forth. If you're hitting on the ball machine, it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, I can handle 2-a-days for the most part, but like mentally, I start to get tired, and that's where like if you're a pro, like you have to learn how to like deal with mental fatigue. And I really think the mental fatigue side of it is you have to stay locked in. So there's this book called Peak that talks about like how you actually get better at something. And he talks about there's 3 levels of practice. We've talked about this on the podcast before, but he talks about, and this is true for every discipline. He actually talks about a lot in music, like in the arts. He talks about there's like aimless practice. I forget what he calls it. He doesn't call it aimless, but basically you're just kind of out there, just doing whatever. Then you've got purposeful practice, which kind of gets there a little bit, but then he talks about deliberate practice, which has like core principles. And one of the core principles is like you're always giving maximum effort physically and mentally. So in sports, we think about that physically, like I'm always going here. That's true, but mentally you have to stay locked in. So like if you played singles for an hour and a half and you tried to win and not get better, but your purpose was there not to win singles, but to get better at forehand and backhand ground strokes, I would ask you, did you stay mentally locked in for that hour and a half that you played? And did you try to win, or did you try to just hit good ground strokes? If you tell me that you tried to win, I'd say you didn't give maximal effort.
Right.
And then if you told me, yeah, I was just trying to get ground strokes in and I won a bunch of games, and that was the ancillary effect, great. But like you stayed locked in for an hour and a half. So it's really hard to lock in. And I think that's the most difficult part for me right now is like I'm just mentally exhausted a lot because it requires a deliberate practice requires near maximal effort. And so like on my phone, like watching TV, like all these things, I honestly have a theory that is actually mentally draining me. And like if I want to stay mentally available, like I need to get away from screens, an hour needs to feel like an hour. And what I mean by that is like when I watch TV, an hour goes by like that.
Yeah.
When I'm like just like when I'm reading the Bible or praying or whatever, like you could go to nature, whatever. If an hour feels like an hour, you've chewed it, I call it chewing it. If you chewed your hour and not just swallowed it, like I'm trying to experiment with that because if I can show up mentally every single day, I think my body's good. That is a really long way of answering your question on like how long I'm drilling, but I'm really passionate about that right now on
Mhm.
like how can you get the most out of this. And I think, like, especially for, like, I'm thinking about it from a professional level, but I think anybody can really benefit from that. Not even just in pickleball, but just in like their discipline of choice, their job, whatever, you know?
Yeah, being mentally there is, I mean, at a certain level, the ball's just coming so fast at you. So it's like you have to be mentally ready for like anything that comes. And like if you're like a little bit slow or brain fogged or you're just not feeling it or you're tired that day, like it could really affect like just how your body moves or how you're reacting to the ball. So
Yeah. I never gave that enough credit. Like there were just times where I'd play awful and I'd be like, well, it's only it's because I got 5 hours of sleep last night. I'm like, there's no way that's the problem. Like
right,
I get it, like 10%. Like it took down my performance by 10% maybe. And then as I've gotten like played this a lot longer, I'm like, whoa. Like the actually it's a lot bigger of a deal than that.
right.
Like I was drilling today and I was just tired, my brain and my body. And how much better did I get today? I went and drilled for 2 hours, but did I really maximize my time? And so that kind of becomes the battle. It's like, all right, well, what could I have done the day before? I could have ate better the day before. I only got 5 hours of sleep. That's because I took a nap earlier in the day, right? Like, or like around like 3 to 5 ish. Can't do that because then I end up going to bed really late and I have to wake up really early in the morning to drill. So, like, this is a professional level thing, right? But I think it just goes for life in general, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Kind
Yeah.
of going on that. So you talk about like drilling, being mentally good, eating healthy, stretching, all this stuff. And then so you do all the right things, right? And then it's time for you to sign up for that tournament you and your partner are excited for. And then you go and you play that tournament and you're like, wow, I feel like a completely different player than I was when I play rec or when I'm drilling. So you do all this focus and preparation and then you get to the moment and then it's almost like you default back or you don't have enough confidence. I've just been seeing that more and more in the pickleball community lately where people are just like, yeah, I'm just for some reason I just don't play well as well in tournaments. Like what advice do you have for people that are really working hard on their game? Or maybe they're not working hard, they just play different, but when they get in that moment, what advice do you have for them?
Yeah, great question. The first piece of advice I would say is you're not alone. Like, don't think you're alone because that affects 99% of people. You've got professional basketball players. I hear all the time they still throw up before games. Like it's a pressure question. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just feeling a level of pressure, and like you can see this in micro steps throughout like getting better at something. So when you're practicing by yourself, and we talk about this in the lab, we have like a little video series or a little course about this, about pressure. And so, like when you're out there drilling by yourself, like just hitting serves or whatever, zero pressure, right?
Right.
Except for the pressure you're putting on yourself, which I guess that's always true. You're always putting pressure on yourself, but there's like real no pressure. And then you add in someone, whether it's like a drill partner or a coach. If it's a coach, you're trying to impress them.
Mm.
If it's a drill partner, you're trying to impress them or you're trying to not look bad. Now you have a new element of pressure. And then you add in like a game, like a rec game. Now you've got two other people and you've got a teammate. So now you don't want to let your teammate down. Now you want to impress two other people or you want to, prove that you belong there or you want to make sure you get an invite back, right? If it's like a higher level group, like these are all levels of pressure. So my first thing would be learn that what's affecting you is pressure. And so if you can perform at the same level, it's really difficult and you have to work at it over time, but you perform at the same level when you're playing a rec game that you do when you are drilling or with a coach that you do when you're by yourself. If you can learn how to handle that pressure and equal that out, you're going to do a lot better in tournaments. It's just you're handling pressure really well. That's probably the first thing. Is just to, like, honestly, I guess the easiest way to say that is just to think about pressure. Like, it's just pressure. That's all it is.
Yeah.
The second thing would be a visualization. So when I went to the PPA Mesa like a couple weeks ago, the first day we played on a Monday. We got there and we played some games on Sunday just to kind of get used to it. And then on Monday I played, and man, I was so uncomfortable. We played a qualifier, which for people who don't know what a qualifier is, basically there's the main draw tournament is what I would call it. They call it the main draw, but I call it a main draw tournament. So you got a main draw tournament where all the pros play. Okay. You start down with like a round of 64, a round of 128, and you just work your way up all the way to the finals, right? Over a series of days. In order to play in that tournament, you have to qualify for that tournament. So typically it's a qualifier tournament and you probably have to win at least 3 matches. Okay. And these 3 matches are best of 3. So you could play 2 games, you could play 3 games. So we played and we lost in 2. And I just felt uncomfortable the entire time. And I could not figure out why. Like I'd prepared like all this stuff. Like I was good to go.
Like in
And
the
then
moment. Like in
what's
the
that?
moment when you were
Yeah,
playing
on
in the
court.
moment. Okay.
on court. Yeah. And so then, like 3 days later, we played another one called, it was just a money ball. Basically, you enter in and everyone's got to be a 5-5 DUPR or below. And so it's like, instead of playing 5-0, you play like 5-5 is what I look at it as. It's like the 5-5 tournament. And so we played in that. We went 2-2, and I was way more comfortable on court. Well, between Monday and Thursday, I did a ton of what's called visualization. So I just visualized myself on the court, playing matches, being under pressure, just rep after rep for, 30 minutes to an hour to longer. Like I did it over multiple days. And then when I stepped on the court Thursday, I was way more comfortable. So there was that. And what I realized through that visualization helped me figure out why I was feeling so uncomfortable. One, we were playing outside. We rarely play outside in Indianapolis, right?
Right.
So I wasn't really used to that. Two, we were playing against people that I've never played against. And the Indianapolis community is relatively small in pickleball. It's actually pretty big, but in terms of like playing new people every single day, that's not the way it works, right? And so I was playing people I never played with before, which made me uncomfortable. And then three, there was like a massive wind factor. Like the wind was just gusting like crazy. And all of these factors aren't like when people are like, oh, there's a ton of wind. The first thing I think is, yeah, there's a ton of wind for them too. Like you have to learn how to play through that. And then the teams I was playing with or against, they're probably used to that. And that's the other thing is like, you need to also realize the people across from you are under pressure too. So it's not just you. Like when you're under pressure, like I'm not playing, I'm uncomfortable. If you can break through that, you're actually gonna have an advantage because the guys across from you are nervous too.
Right.
So that's a fourth thing. But visualization is the third thing. I would really, really recommend that. There's a ton of stuff about it on YouTube. There's a book called The Pickleball Mindset that talks about it a lot. That's kind of where I learned it with Dane Gingrich, I think is his name. So I'd recommend reading that. And then probably the fifth thing is I would recommend just playing more tournaments. Just play as many tournaments as you possibly can if you want to get better at tournament play. The problem is around here in Indianapolis, we just don't have a ton, right?
Right.
But if you are in a place where you can do that, you should. So those would be my answers. What do you think?
No, I agree. I think visualization is important. That's something I need to do a little bit better at, I think. Because I mean, you're right, we're all nervous going into the tournament. Like there's some people that are just better at it. They've had more experience in tournaments or they've had more success, but still everyone has that level of not wanting to mess up. So I think visualizing during the week of like uncomfortable situations you can be in or shots that you hit really well or even like how your mindset is like, visualizing how you're going to be on the court. Visualizing what's going to happen if you start out 0 for 3, you know, and then like where your mindset is so you can get through that or visualizing like, man, I might make the first 2 mistakes and just like accept that, right? Accept that you're going to make the mistakes. So that's good. I think something that's helped me is like making and drilling, not just dinking around, like making a game out of it to 10, 12, whatever we're playing to. Like
for the tournament or just in drilling?
Just in general, drilling. Like always put some extra level of pressure in drilling. Rather than just hitting, 100 dinks in a row. It's like, all right, first to 11 wins. So like putting like a game behind it. So like there is a little bit pressure of, I mean, we're all competitive. We want to win. So like just have that extra level. That's kind of what I do. And then I think another big thing is just play as many tournaments as you can because the more you play, the definitely more, natural it feels and, less pressure over time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then that reminds me. So here is probably what you should do when you go to play a tournament. You should wake up if you want to do this for real. You should wake up and visualize for 30 minutes to an hour. Read that book, The Pickleball Mindset, learn about visualization, or even just go to AI and be like, hey, how do I visualize in pickleball for the first 30 minutes to an hour? It really just should involve you playing games in your mind. Like when this comes, this is what I do. I serve, I return. Like you're just playing out points, right? And then after you visualize, you should show up to the court I show up at least an hour and 15 minutes early. I go ahead and stretch. Then I drill and like get all the stuff that I want to do and just to warm up. Like not drill, it's just a warm up, right? And then I try and play points for the last 20 to 30 minutes. Playing points for the last 20 to 30 minutes means actually playing games, right? And a lot of objections to this is like, oh, I'm going to play the people I play in pool play, all that stuff. Yeah, but they're going to learn you and you're going to learn them. And you're going to be ahead in terms of being warmed up, right? Versus all the other people in pool play. The only person that you helped was that team, and you helped yourself, and then every other team's behind, right? But if you find a team that's not in your pool, do that. But there really is no good objection to not playing points.
Yeah.
And you should play points for 20 to 30 minutes. That way, when you get into your first game, it's not your first game, it's your third game.
Right.
And so unless someone's like, I get fatigued like in game 3, and playing 2 games before you play other games is an issue, that'd be my recommendation to everyone. And that should really be what you do. Make sure you bring electrolytes, and liquid carbs would be a good idea. But other than that, that's how I would tournament prep.
And trying to like mix it up too. Like, I know we all have our partners and our groups of people we play with, but it's a great idea to like try to put yourself out there a little bit more in your pickleball community and ask other people to play. Because I mean, we can be so comfortable playing the same people every week. Like, I know there's a couple guys that I play that are super good, but when I go out and play them, I'm playing my best pickleball. And we always laugh about it because it's like, how? It's like, because I know everything they're going to do. Like, I know their game like the back of my hand. So, like, I'm already anticipating that. So I'm playing well. If you go out there and play like people you normally don't play all the time, it's just showing you different styles of games. And I think over time, anticipation gets better, then your confidence gets
Yeah.
better as well.
Yeah, I think you should definitely play other players for sure. All right, well, let's wrap up. I think we've got like 5 questions that you have that we can kind of go through. I'm gonna try and hit them in like 30 seconds or less.
I have one big question. I have one
Yeah.
question that just popped in my head, which is I want to know what your thoughts are on this whole DUPR reset. It's a big topic right now.
But yeah,
I wanted to see like what your thoughts were, like if like really whatever you think about it.
yeah, I don't know what's really going on with that. Besides, I think you have to play 3 tournaments, and you have to play with at least 2 different partners. And if you do that, then it will give you a DUPR rating, and whichever one's higher, your current DUPR rating or that DUPR rating, you can take it. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's a total of 8 matches, 2 different partners within a span of 2 months starting today.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah,
what happens and basically, so if your score is higher than your score now, then you will keep it after the 2-month trial. If it's not higher, then you go back to your original score.
and it costs money, right?
$35 for that.
Yeah, okay. So I just know the details. I don't know the online chatter about it, or are people talking about it?
I think just some people are back and forth, but I think it could be good for some people, I think.
Well, yeah, for sure. It'll raise their DUPR. I don't know. I'm a little bit on the other side of this, of like old school, of like, don't worry about your DUPR, like worry about your game. Right. But then for some people, like who are coaches, like I can say that, but as soon as my DUPR went above a 5.0, like I got a lot more clout as a coach. I'm sure my conversion rate went a lot higher, like on our website for things. So I guess there's that aspect. But if it's just purely like to prove to yourself that you're getting better, any person I coached, I would really I try and encourage them, don't worry about the DUPR, worry about whether you're getting better, because DUPR will follow it. But there's probably some reasons to be concerned about your DUPR that I'm unaware of. What about you? What do you think?
No, I mean, I think it's good. I think, like for me, like I have a tournament in there that I didn't show up to. So I have 6.
For real?
6 0-11s. So that doesn't help at all.
Yeah.
And I think like for me, like I was a tennis player, so then I just came in like early as heck, and it was like, oh yeah, I'll beat these 4-0s, and then came in and just like played tournaments and kind of wrecked it a little bit, which is fine. I've never been like too concerned with my DUPR, but I've been thinking about doing it. I haven't signed up for anything just because, again, I've been dealing with this injury too. So I'm like, do I really want to do this or?
Yeah.
But,
honestly, I think it's going to be really popular for a lot of people. The problem will be getting 3 tournaments within 2 months. Doesn't have to be within 2 months.
I think it's 8 matches. So
8 matches.
Yeah. So 8 matches, but that doesn't have to be tournaments. So
okay.
you can play with your friends.
Okay. Interesting.
And manually record the matches. So that's
okay. Cool. All right. Well, yeah, I don't know. That's always tough. I think if you want to do it, do it. It's only $35 or whatever. But if you're like, I don't really care about it, then don't care about it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, let's hit those questions.
Cool. So what's one habit that moved you from a 3.0 to a 4.0 plus?
It's a good question. I would say watching film for sure. So Briefly on that, you need to watch your film. You need to go to our YouTube video called The 4 Phases of Pickleball. You need to catalog your errors in all 4 of those phases, figure out which one you're making the most errors in, then create drills and there's tons of drills on YouTube you can do, but even in your head, you can create drills to fix those things. Go drill and fix those things. And I think going from 3.0 to 4.0 and even higher, you're going to have to learn how to do film work for the most part. And maybe that's like a little bit of a higher level tip, but that's what happened for me. That's what happened for me specifically. I was very intense and I was filming at 3.0. So
if you could erase one tip from beginner pickleball forever, what would it be and why?
You need to be dinking a lot early. But I say that one all the time because you're just not going to dink a lot from a 2.0 to 3.0 or 2.0 to 3.5-ish, even 4.0. Even 5.0s don't dink as much as you think. Don't worry about that. Like as you're hitting ground strokes, you'll learn how to dink and not hit that. Don't hit the ground stroke hard. Hit it soft. That's a dink. So I'm not saying don't ever practice it. I'm just saying from 2.0 to 3.5, practice the things that make sense, which are serve, return, third, and fourth. Let me think about another one. Something from beginner pickleball. I don't know that I would erase it, but I would really encourage people. The lower over the net you can get the ball, the better off you are. Because a lot of people get stuck in, I'm just going to get the ball over the net, right? I would encourage them to try and get the ball lower and lower over the net because in pickleball, you really can boil it down to low ball, high ball. Whoever chains together the most amount of low balls is going to win. So yeah, that'd be my answer.
3.0 only has 2 hours a week. How should they practice?
Ground strokes. Because your ground stroke is, I'm a big proponent of this at the moment. So your serve, return, and your third can your serve is a ground stroke, your return is a ground stroke, and your third can be a ground stroke, right? It can either be a drive, which is a ground stroke, or it can be a drop. And then your fourth is like typically a volley or even a ground stroke if it bounces. So ground strokes, ground stroke, ground stroke, ground stroke. Learn how to hit topspin. Topspin really like makes people nervous, but it's you need to think about if you're nervous about topspin, you're already swinging a certain way. Let's just change how you're doing it. And that's all topspin is.
Underrated drill and overrated drill.
Overrated drill. Dang, that's a good one. I wouldn't say this is overrated, but I would say I just don't do it anymore, which is playing skinny singles diagonally. Because you can't really volley. And I think volleying is so important at higher levels. You're just not going to volley like diagonal that often. And I'm not saying you should never do it, but we serve from like, if we're playing like left side, if I'm playing left side, I serve from the right side, step over left side, and then we play straight up, like in front of each other so that we can volley.
Nice.
So I wouldn't say it's overrated. I just don't do it anymore. And maybe that'll change over time. And then I would say an underrated one that's really difficult to get people to do is, and I think you should do it probably at every single level because it's going to help you control the ball, is volley drills. So on YouTube, we've got cooperative where you're just trying to like aim, and then aggressive where you're trying to go like game speed. There's another one that I really like that a friend introduced me to. We go forehand. We both stand at the kitchen. We both go forehand to forehand for 5 minutes. And then I go forehand to your backhand for 5 minutes. Then you go your forehand to my backhand for 4 minutes or 5 minutes, sorry, and then we do backhand to backhand for 5. So you just volley for 20 minutes. Not game speed really. It's somewhere in between cooperative and game speed. You're trying to aim, and that's just gonna help you control volleys.
Very good.
Cool. Was that the 5? I lost track.
That's it, man.
Let's go, dude. Awesome, man. Well, thanks for jumping on again today. I really appreciate it. I think, we provided a lot of value for people today. And guys, if you guys are listening to the podcast, just make sure you remember you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, here on YouTube as well. But the biggest thing is if you guys will submit questions, we are happy to answer those on air. You can do that one of two ways. The preferred way is to go to pickleball.co/the-pickleball-lab. And if you go there, you can join the Pickleball Lab for free. It's a community where we have a lot of online courses and coaching to help you progress, but you can join as a free option and then drop your comments or drop in comments as questions there on the podcast that we will answer. And then you can also drop them in the YouTube comments as well, and we'll get to those. So thanks for jumping on with me again today, Elliott, and I hope everyone got a lot of really good information, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys next week.
All right, man. Thanks. See ya.
Bye.